please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome back to Omegon 2 Electric Boogaloo. Today we're going to be taking a look at another one of those nuisance influencers. What is a nuisance influencer, you ask? A social media influencer that live streams IRL and is nothing but a nuisance. I fumbled my words and I'm leaving it in. Today's nuisance influencer is Ice Poseidon, who was recently kicked off a Royal Caribbean cruise, or Caribbean. If you choose one of those pronunciations, congratulations. This is the scone and scone argument, garage garage argument, tomato tomato, potato potato. I couldn't give a shit. So, Drama Alert had tweeted out an independent article, an image of it anyway, where the popular streamer Ice Poseidon was kicked off after being accused of hunting for swingers. And here I was thinking, that's what you're meant to do on those cruises. I have a friend whose parents used to go on cruises quite a lot. And I always had it in my head, you either did it because you were looking for swingers or because you were, you wanted to dress up. Thankfully, they wanted to make good memories and dress up and get some really cheap whiskey, but high quality as well, which is quite nice. So I found the independent article and thought, let's go through that and see what's what. Now, the boat in question is called the Harmony of the Seas. I'm going to call into question whether or not this can be called a ship or a boat, because it looks like, I don't know what it looks like, but it looks like a block of flats floating. Maybe this is the future of humanity. Might find with all the metal in the earth, this might well help with any issues concerning, overpopulation one day. Not yet, of course, but one day. Now, a streamer known as Ice Poseidon has been removed from a cruise ship along with several other streamers after the group was allegedly involved in several incidents of bad behavior. This included swinging, looking for anyway, but fighting on deck and going from door to door looking for those aforementioned swingers. The fighting would be enough for me, but IRL streamers are a nuisance. They all are. Some things are unlikely to change in the grand scheme of things. Now, 2 of them were filmed descending into physical violence, throwing punches and tumbling onto the floor in front of other passengers. They were reportedly detained by onboard security and dropped off at the next stop, an island off the coast of Honduras. Was it really worth it? But then when it comes to these streamers, you have Chicken Andy, Blackass Dave, yeah, those are the actual stream names by the way, fighting over other streamers, not being able to shelve your egos. It's inevitable they are going to have these problems, because they never seek to be better people. They're only interested in being right all the time and creating the best content. But it wasn't just fighting that angered other cruise passengers. Several streamers reportedly broadcast themselves roaming the ship, knocking on cabin doors in search of upside-down pineapples, which, according to the article, and I didn't know this, is a symbol widely recognised as being related to the swinging or partner-swapping community. Who the Fraggle Rock would want to partner swap with this reprobate? The only thing he has going for him is his voice, not his looks. Their antics drew irritation from other passengers, which led to some of the streamers receiving insults being thrown at them by other cruise voyagers, and rightly so. The problem with that is, if they are streamers, chances are when they're on this cruise, which is not a cheap cruise, they were undoubtedly lying. Any insult back and forth is content. In fact, their lives are content. And that's one of the problems I have with nuisance streamers. When does the content start and when does the content stop? If you don't have a definitive stopping point where you can simply switch off, when you're not on Discord, you're not on Skype, you're not on Facecuck, Twitter, when you're just you, where does that happen when your entire life is being broadcast with you going out and about, baiting for response? Now, the vast majority of these streamers' lives are boring. They broadcast the boring, but people don't know about the boring, they only know about these incidents. Now, Ice Poseidon and 4 other streamers were removed from the vessel at Costa Maya, Mexico, where their disembarkation was live streamed on Kick. So not all were yeeted at Honduras, but some were. These complaints mounted, understandably so. People don't go on a cruise because they want to have this in their face. They go on a cruise because they want to relax and also live a different life for a while. It's like LARPing, but for the middle class. No offense to anyone who goes on cruises, but a lot of the cruises I've seen pictures and videos of is a form of LARP. And that's not a dig. It's just lovely that people get to, disconnect from the real world for a time. Some go for cruises of months, many months, lengthy months, most of the year in fact. And that's a good thing. Nuisance streamers, you guys need to stick to your lane. Some people are getting yeeted out of countries for it, some are getting put in prison because of it, some are discovering that cruises and international waters affords them an opportunity to be not as accountable because of international waters. Unfortunately, when you're on a boat, you live in a very confined space where be found very quickly and identified very quickly. Is it really worth it if you end up then having to pay out to try and find a way home? I doubt many of you are from Honduras. I doubt many of you are from Mexico. As he left the boat, Ice Poseidon had said passengers had been clapping as they'd gone, they'd left. Quote, people were clapping on the boat, walk of shame, basically. I take no issue with that, because Royal Caribbean, who hosted this, it was their boat, this Harmony of Seas that is, they shouldn't be put in this position where they're offering refunds to people because you guys, paying customers, couldn't be, let's say, not an arsehole for 5 minutes, or however many months it was for. Now, Ice Poseidon has gained more notoriety recently when he was accused of defrauding his own fans of about $500,000 in a crypto project. I'm going to say this verbatim. If you, a fan, supporter of any creator, donate to that person or support them through a crypto project, or donate via crypto project, anything crypto related, meme coin, you're being scammed. Grow the Fraggle Rock up. You have to be the biggest sucker to donate towards that kind of stuff. If you're that dumb, just give the money to me instead. At least I'm honest where the money goes. Into my back pocket. It's not overly complicated. More notably for myself, a 40-year-old whiskey for my 40th birthday next year. It's not cheap. Coffee.com/TheRealOmega9873. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Now there's a couple more bits of information regarding the cruise itself. It was a 7-day event. It departed from Galveston, Texas on the 2nd of November, making stops at Honduras, Costa Maya, Cozumel, before returning to Galveston on Sunday the 9th. Naturally, they didn't get back to Sunday the 9th. Well, those that got yeeted, because the brawl happened on the 5th. When Ice Poseidon did a live, or a video anyway, talking about this, Shed to Kick, it was titled Kicked Off Cruise, No Justice, where he said he was called down to security before being told to leave. He told the streamers that he was streaming around people and they complained, referring to other passengers on the ship who were being filmed without consent. Now this actually leans into another issue. I have always vehemently stood against being in the public space and recording other people without their permission. You may be in a public space, you may have a point, you can do it there, but you shouldn't really be putting others on camera, especially if they complain. On private property, which is what this is, you have to obey the rules of that place. And I would argue you only, Ice Poseidon, went on this cruise to make content. Because on a cruise, you can show off a little bit, and you cannot then run the risk of running into fans or haters, because it's a more confined space. Less chance of a ruckus unless you're the nuisance streamer, like Ice Poseidon and the others. One of the earlier mentioned passengers who got into an altercation, David Ryan, addressed the altercation while talking to a staff member at the hotel where he was filming, saying, I was on a cruise, a big cruise, then they kicked me off. I got in a fight, yeah, it's very bad. I didn't want to get kicked off. I literally talked to security and said, hey, me and this guy can resolve it and it will all be good, let us talk. Willis, the other person, had said they left us in Honduras and nothing more. When a user in the chat had said other streamers were allegedly getting kicked off the ship too, though, the other guy, Willis, had said, I was thinking since we got kicked out, maybe the heat will die down. This was the problem. Dave and Dave were the problem. They're gone. Oh no, what a shame. As far as all this goes, I should also add then, if you have to resort to physical altercations or aggressive negotiations because you can't handle that you got something wrong, chances are you're a little bitch. And in this context, two streamers who did get yeeted are definitively little bitches. That being Chicken Andy, which is David Ryan, and Black Ass Dave, which is David Willis. So David and David, you deserved to be kicked off because you had a fight. I don't care if you resolved it. Zero tolerance applies. What a waste of your money, by the way. Paying for a 7-day cruise, a decent one as well, by the way. I'm a bit jealous, I'll be honest. A decent 7-day cruise just to chill and relax, and you couldn't even be asked to do that. Any loser that goes on what's dubbed a holiday and makes content while they're doing it, needs to learn to live life because you are chronically online. And I know that some people worry their numbers will suffer, but I think having a break from time to time will do you the world of good. There are many streamers in many different communities who go live when they're on their holiday. You're all fat losers, grow up. You're on holiday. You're not there to make content. The fact you did speaks volumes about how desperate you are. When I take time away from YouTube, I take time away from YouTube. Typically in January, I go to Norwich for a few days. There's one planned stream, because it's a whiskey one with my friend David, who I go to see. But I'm not online for the rest of it. I am definitively AFK. Streamers like Ice Poseidon and the other two Lobcocks, along with many others that use Kick more notably, are a bad blemish on platforms like Kick. And I use Kick. I do. I don't do as well over there, but I do use it. But they don't help wanting to grow over there, because apparently the only way to be successful there is to be an arsehole. And I don't want to be like that. I'm not willing to compromise values to get yeast off a cruise, which I won't deny, I've always wanted to go on one. Always wanted to go on one, but I could never afford such a luxury. With everything we discuss on this channel, I would love to know what you all think. Please do let me know in the comments down below.